Okay, so I think what is going on now, the reason the museum was not open to the public is because there was a zoning issue, and the zoning issue stated that the Warrens' house, which was attached to the museum, so the museum and the house kind of came together as a single entity, was considered private property and not commercial. So they said, the city said that they could not open the museum as a commercial property because it was considered private property. So it was not deemed appropriate to be open to the public for business purposes. And that's why they started the evenings with Annabelle, so that they could bring the artifact to the public, because they could no longer allow people to come to the museum because of city zoning issues. But I think what's going to happen now that Matt Rife is involved, and just from the blurb that I got when I was listening to just that small blurb, I could be wrong, but it sounds like this whole Airbnb thing is their way to circumvent this, because you can purchase homes and place them up as rentals, and it's not really considered commercial property. So I think that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to have kind of like a go around where people can still come to the museum. They can still come do paranormal investigations. And it's not going to be considered a violation of the zoning issues because it's an Airbnb, not a museum thing. But I think that's probably the closest thing that I can come to, is that it's because of the fact that it was zoned as private property, not commercial, so they couldn't open the museum to the public, so the Airbnb is the best solution. That's just my opinion. Now on to the second comment that somebody left saying, well, Annabelle's not even there anymore. Tried to explain she is. They just left laughing emojis. Block them and move on, because to be perfectly honest, with those kind of people, you just can't reason with them. No reason just to keep arguing over it. Block and move on. But for anybody else who is curious, Annabelle is still with the Occult Museum. She's taken out once in a while for these Evening with Annabelles, so people can come and, again, see these artifacts that they haven't been allowed to see because the museum is not allowed to be open to the public. But she is still with the Warren Occult Museum. She is still property of Tony Sparrow, who is the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine Warren, married to their only daughter, Judy Warren Sparrow. She is still property of the New England Society of Psychic Research. Now, I guess, is the official caretaker is Matt Rife and his friend. Like they said, they don't own her. They just are official caretakers of her. Now, a lot of people still believe that Zach Bagans owns Annabelle and that she is in his museum. She was only in his museum in 2017 when he did his Halloween special. He states himself that when he touched her, which was a violation of the contract he made with Tony Sparrow for the special, that Tony took Annabelle and left, meaning they left the museum and she is no longer there. And the museum has stated emphatically that Annabelle does not exist in the museum. They have two other dolls, one famous doll, Peggy, but they do not have Annabelle. In fact, I wrote to them. I wish I still had the email. I cannot find it. But I emailed them once to try to disprove this, and they did write me back and said that they have two dolls, neither of which are Annabelle. They have never had Annabelle. They only had Annabelle briefly for a Halloween special filming, but never had her on display. She is still property of the Warren Occult Museum. But yeah, they have themselves said they don't have Annabelle. So Annabelle is still with the Warren Occult Museum. Tony Sparrow is still the owner of Annabelle and of all of the haunted objects in the Warren Occult Museum. Now Matt Rife is the official caretaker, at least for the next 5 years. But no, Zach Bagans does not have anything to do with Annabelle or the Warren Occult Museum, or any object in there. He has not purchased any of the objects that they have ever owned. And yeah, Annabelle is still with the Occult Museum, and now Matt Rife. apparently. But yeah, no, she's still there. And she's not missing. She's not missing. That's a story that happens every 1 or 2 years. She's not missing, and she is still with the Warren Occult Museum, not Zach Bagans, not any other entity, not any other museum. Any other museum claiming to have her has a fake or are lying. She's still with the Warren Occult Museum, and now apparently Matt Rife is her official caretaker, but he does not own her. She is still owned by the New England Society of Psychic Research. He just owns the house, the museum, and is the official caretaker of the items. So I hope that clarifies anything. But yeah, there you go.